Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 322 for the week of August 29th, 2017. And God willing, we get through this podcast and actually have it sound good and proper and not get cut off, and we don't sound like robots at the end of this. We got a new cord. Hopefully this fixes it. I don't know why we didn't throw away the cord that didn't work. That's a question for the ages.
I'm hoping it's not still in the box.
No, we threw. So here's a funny thing. I threw the cord away, and then Brock was getting ready, and there were two more cords. So I don't understand, but now all the cords have been thrown away. So we're just going to try this again.
And then you find out it wasn't the cord at all.
Well, that's my fear. Is that hopefully it's not the laptop or the board. That's a much bigger problem. Hopefully it's the cord. Anyway, my name's Ryan Higgins. Who's here with me this week?
Brock Sidler.
Oh, Charlie was about to jump the gun there.
What the hell is that?
No, I'm actually just thinking, I totally want all of us to just bring in a cord and throw it in the box.
I'll
next week.
fucking murder you.
Worst time to bring that up ever. Anyway, not banging my aunt, but don't blame you if you are, Bryce Larsen.
Whoa.
Toby.
Okay.
And Charlie.
Toby was on crack before we started recording the podcast, and now you were like, you peaked, and now you're down. So
It's a Taco Bell. You digested enough
No.
of it. And now it's
No, we
doing
don't
it.
want to talk about why. Let's just
Toby's
keep rolling.
yeah.
Too much serious talk.
Yeah.
Screw serious talk. Let's talk about dumb comic book garbage. Hey,
comic book.
so I don't actually have too many topics to talk about this week. I know Secret Empire comes out tomorrow, and we wouldn't want to spoil it. But I actually do want to talk about spoiling
I think
Secret
Marvel
Empire.
already did that, didn't they?
You just took the joke right out of my mouth, Brock.
I know.
Oh, so it's equally bad no matter who it comes from.
So, okay, we're gonna talk about spoilers here, and we're gonna talk about not about spoilers, but about spoilers. Let's talk about the concept of spoilers here. Okay.
Okay, you've lost Toby already.
We're not going to spoil anything. We're just going to talk about spoilers.
So on Monday, Marvel sent out a major news story to, I think it was New York Times, ran it originally, and then comicbook.com and Newsarama and Comic Resources, everyone picked it up. And this was a panel from Secret Empire number 10 that comes out, as of recording, this comes out tomorrow, Wednesday, and which Charlie's already read. And I skimmed through. I didn't just read it start to finish. But, you know, what's happening now, this happened when Metal was coming out as well, because they sent out the last page. Some comic stores are now getting products on Monday, meaning not many, but a select few stores, probably big multi-chain chain stores.
Not us.
You mean the day/2 before release date?
2 days before release date,
Right.
Most comic book stores get their product Tuesdays.
Right, so one day, not two.
Right. Some comic stores are now getting their product Monday, and I think that's why we've seen Marvel and DC posting more spoilers on Mondays. These news articles are now going up on Monday, whereas previously they would go up on Tuesday. Still a spoiler, but they're now going up a day early. And I think it's because comic stores are getting the stuff early, and they're trying to beat the scanners and people that put up the torrents, because they somehow always have it in. So, I tweeted out one of these, I think it was the link to comicbook.com, because that was the first one I saw. And people got super mad at me, including these two guys right here.
Motherfucker, because you spoiled it.
Well,
Again,
okay, hold on.
I didn't spoil it.
Yes, you
Marvel spoiled it.
If you didn't fucking tweet
that was-
thing, if you didn't tweet that thing, I wouldn't have been spoiled. So you spoiled it.
So first of all, Toby is right, which I have no problem saying anytime he says anything, which is a dangerous, thing to do. So I didn't know that Marvel did it, but my problem was just that you're perpetuating the spoilers. I didn't know that Marvel did it, but my problem is that you're continuing the
spoilage,
the spoilerificness, because I scroll directly past immediately without reading shit that Marvel tweets, because of course it's all marketing bullshit.
Yeah.
But you, like, if it's not political related, which is most of the shit that I'm scrolling past,
I'll look at it,
which you post anyway, I might actually stop and look at it, which was a big mistake when I look at Green Cap, spoiler, doing anything. Now I saw, like, it was Green Cap, and then you said some bullshit about Secret Empire, and so I scrolled past it without getting too spoiled on any of the words. But yeah, I wouldn't say that I was, upset that you spoiled it per se, more that it was just that you were perpetuating. Like, you are self-professed, like, oh, I only watch one spoiler and one teaser and one trailer, but I don't like spoilers. Okay. No. I limit, but unless it's really good, or if it's a DC movie, or if it involves Henry Cavill or Ben Affleck, or anybody whose book was written by Dan Didio or Scott Snyder, or anything else related to DC at all, I'll watch another. I'll watch another trailer. So other than that, yeah, I don't like spoilers at all. Oh, by the way, let me retweet this huge spoiler for the final issue of this 10-issue arc. Oh, you guys have a problem with that? That's so weird.
Second to last of a 12 issue, but go ahead.
11.
Oh, it's 12. It's not 10.
Is it 12 or 11?
Well,
wait, it said to be concluded on number 9.
0 through.
Oh yeah.
0 through 10 plus the one shot. So, but that's just me being pedantic. Anyway. Yeah. So here's the thing.
Synonymous with Higgins is pedantic.
I'm going to lay out the three layers of spoilers.
Are you? Oh my god.
Okay. Toby.
Why do I get a feeling something's going to come back?
Here's the 3 layers of spoilers, okay? You have, and 2 of them are right now. Okay. Bryce, you do not like spoiler level 1. That is anything. You don't want to know anything about something that you haven't engaged in. If you are interested, you watch trailers.
Yeah.
You don't watch the next on, right?
Oh, definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah.
That you understand that's on you.
If it's going to come out, then I don't want to look at it. But
right.
I also don't feel like I should have to fucking hide from Twitter because, I don't go to these sites looking for spoilers, which is totally fair if you do. If that's your thing, then fair play. But if you're following Higgins, who just complains about Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, then
you understand, though, that that's on you.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean that I should
follow you.
It doesn't mean that I should have to lock myself in a closet and not go on any social media because I don't like spoilers.
I don't want to see anything about Star Wars before the movie comes out, but I understand that that's going to be next to impossible.
Right, and I also acknowledge the fact that I see Green Cap in a picture that you tweeted, and without reading anything, I scroll past it. So I read Secret Empire number 9. I see the cover for the next issue is a green cap Captain America. Any
that cover came out 3 months ago.
Sure. So any Nimrod could sort of guess what's going to happen. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to speculate what might happen. My point is that you're, a self-professed spoiler level fucking 2 air quotes I'm using.
Well, let's go to spoiler
hater. But then retweeting your own.
I think we killed Toby. He's just done. Let's go to spoiler level 2. Okay, let's talk about this. Okay, let's talk about the next level.
Is this the dark spoiler verse or the actual spoiler verse?
Let's talk about level 2 because I feel like Secret Empire is spoiler level 2. Now I'm gonna spoil some comic books.
This is such fucking nerd talk.
I'm gonna spoil some stories.
There's levels
it really is. It really is.
This is okay. This is as nerdy as fucking gonna get.
This is fucking
if
pointless.
We're talking about different levels of fucking spoilage.
It's pointless because we all know who is coming back.
Like I said, Brock, let me tell you about spoiler level 2, okay? Let me tell you about spoiler level 2.
My favorite part, can we just acknowledge that, even talking about spoiler level 1 is nerdy enough, but, if you're going to have 2 levels of spoilers, that's where any normal person turns off this podcast.
3.
I know, and they're just 2 levels of spoilers, go fuck yourself,
but wait, we're going to go to spoiler level 3!
No. I'm just waiting until he realizes there's something that doesn't fit into the other levels. So
I've already thought about this. There's actually a 2.5, but we can skip that one. I've already thought about this.
So the whole idea,
and it's based on something that we know is going to fucking happen.
Right. So that is spoiler level 2.
Oh, okay. Let's cut to it.
Okay. So let's talk about. We were talking about Star Wars earlier. Let's talk about Star Wars. It's not a spoiler. It's not a level 3 spoiler that Rey survives.
Well, you haven't gotten to 3 yet, though.
I know.
Everybody's confused.
Is it a big end of movie spoiler when Rey and when Rey beats what's his face at the end of Kylo Ren at the end of Force Awakens, right? I mean, that is a spoiler? Yes, it is a big end of movie. Because we were talking Star Wars earlier, I'm just using this as an example.
We were?
It's a big end. Well, I had mentioned Star Wars about not wanting to know anything about it. But if
I said the word Star Wars, that's level 2.
If someone was like, "Oh, Rey beats Kylo Ren at the end of Star Wars. You could be like, well, that is a big spoiler, but really, no fucking shit, right? Like, okay, look, I don't have to spoil Secret Empire to tell you that Nazi Captain America gets beaten at the end.
Right?
Right?
Dude, I'm totally with you, and I didn't read the text again. And if that's what you said, then fucking shit. But
and if you're reading Secret Empire and you've read up to issue 9, it is incredibly clear what comes next. It is...
Dude, I read not a single issue of Secret Empire like months and months ago, right. And I know that good guy Captain America wins.
Right.
That's not fucking spoiler level 2. That's not spoiler level 1.
No.
Have I sworn yet? How am I doing on the swear count?
Spoiler 1 is you, where you don't want to know a single thing about anything. Spoiler 2 is like, look, I'm not going out of my way to spoil the very end of a major story. However, it doesn't take fucking rocket scientists to figure this out. Now, spoiler level 3, and I'm going to use Metal as the example.
No. Use last week as the example.
Last week?
Where Bryce went on his whole play-by-play of Game of Thrones.
No.
Before I watched it.
That was because I stopped for my own defense. I stopped and made sure that you were okay with me continuing, first of all. Second of all, Higgins only put it on the Patreon, so you have to pay and opt into them.
But Charlie...
mother effing stuff.
But right, so let's take Metal as an example for spoiler level 3. Okay, now I am going to spoil the end of Metal number 1. We've all read it. We've talked about it.
And so
this is something where, again, it deserves a warning. Anyone that hasn't read Metal number 1, you should. But let's go to
level
spoiler.
3 incoming.
Right. I'm going to start labeling these spoilers beforehand.
Please don't.
Like a klaxon. Like, whoop, whoop, spoiler.
That's even worse than...
Sandman appearing on the very last page of Metal number 1. That fucking comes from nowhere. That is a major spoiler that nobody saw coming. That is sort of the spoiler level 3. That this is something that no one could have possibly seen coming. Now, spoiler level 1, not a spoiler. Sorry, Bryce, you're on your own with that one. Spoiler level 2. No, look, while I kind of disagree, I understand and I apologized afterwards. I was like, guys, I'm sorry. I did not think that this was even a thing. It's the biggest no shit moment of all time, but I do not want to ruin this story for people. I'm very sorry for spoiling this. That was not my intent. My intent was more to poke fun at Marvel for completely lying about the outcome of Secret Empire, which they kind of have to. I mean,
so out of character of you.
Yeah, I think I was mad about that.
But I wouldn't when the Sandman thing came out for Metal, right? I got spoiled on that, and I was like, fuck. Now I really want to read this, right? I mean, so I was like, oh my god, people, this is out there. Don't, but if you want to look, it's out there. I didn't get spoiled. You didn't, yeah.
And so, when I read it, I was like, holy shit! I
didn't get spoiled either, and I read it when.
What?
I'm exactly with Toby. I was like, who the frick is this guy?
I thought it was a Doctor Who villain, the little wind-up dudes in space.
No, I thought it was like some Toyman variant. Dude, I understand what you're saying. A lot of it is opt-in. It's just, I know that you love poking fun at Marvel, but Marvel or DC, if you're going to do any spoiler, can you just give everything like a week? Is that too much to ask?
It is, because that's the whole thing. You're talking about...
But is it?
Yeah, you're talking about publicity for a comic.
They're controlling the publicity if they can't wait past a certain time otherwise. Because the thing is like, if you look at Game of Thrones, episode 5?
But I was not spoiled by Marvel. I was spoiled by Higgins.
But that's what I mean. What's going to happen is if they don't post it, the scanners are. So they're beating those guys to the punch.
But I don't follow these Twitter scanner people.
But the thing is that loses ad revenue for them.
It's not ad revenue. It's
what?
Click numbers and stuff.
What are you talking about?
I mean that's for CBR and comicbook.com. No. Marvel and DC coming out ahead of the spoilers. That's pushed to get people into the store to buy the comic, because I guarantee you, both of those comics will have the desired effect of getting more people to pick them up because people saw that image ahead of time. The Metal one and the Secret Empire one.
All right, so let me retort to your ridiculous 3 levels of nerdy.
But am I wrong?
Spoiler. I mean, yes and no. Yes, you're wrong. There are more or fewer levels of the spoilerificness. So I don't know what to tell you. You could segment it any way you want. My problem is not that. I mean, first of all, let me just make it clear that, like, I didn't really have a problem. Like, you tweeted something about Captain America. All I did was say, okay, spoiler, the swearing tag is going to be, the Band-Aid is going to be ripped off now. It's like, yeah, fucking Higgins, of course you're gonna spoil this. Like, yeah, nobody expected any different outcome from Secret Empire. Am I actually upset? Of course not. Did I expect any different result? Of course not. Do you need to retweet that shit? Probably not. Like, can you just, like, leave me to fucking, like, read my comic? I don't follow all the people that are spoiling shit like CBR or whatever. Like, I don't follow that shit because I don't like to get spoiled on shit. And is it opt-in to a certain capacity on my part? Yes, it is. And so when that shit like that happens, I don't mind. And if I knew who the fucking Sandman, if I knew that Sandman was Sandman, like, it was an awesome spoiler for me. I didn't know who the fuck it was, but when, like, the dreamy bubble appeared on the second to last page, before I turned to the last page, yeah, that was fucking awesome. I didn't see a spoiler for that. Yeah. I didn't even know who it fucking was, but, like, I was pleasantly surprised when I read it. Like, I was, that's awesome. So it wasn't spoiled for me because I don't follow all this shit.
I think there's a couple other reasons. I think, one, Marvel's trying to get out of Secret Empire as fast as possible, and two, Monday was also Jack Kirby's 100th birthday, which we should obviously mention and talk about here. And a lot of people's anger at Marvel over Secret Empire was the belief that, again, incorrect, I think, because people blew this shit out of proportion. I mean, it's a story, whatever. You can do whatever you want. But making Captain America a Nazi who was created by two Jewish guys, Jack Kirby being one of them, is, like, very, insulting.
Who's the other guy?
Joe Simon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's like I disagree with that because they're comic book characters. You can write whatever you want. Of course, he's going to come back and be normal Captain America, right? But that was a conversation for a year ago.
So what? Yeah.
But no, I wanted to apologize to people if I did spoil them on Twitter. But two,
really,
it's a level 2 spoiler.
That's the fucking. That's just awful. You should be ashamed of yourself for even, like, not spoiling anything, but for leveling into 3 different categories.
Spoiler: Legacy characters are coming back in Marvel in Legacy.
Oh yeah, I mean, we already knew they've already solicited the Cap run on Mark Waid, the Mark Waid run on Cap, and yeah. So,
but I mean, to your point, I don't. Sandman and Metal, I think, will bring in a different crowd for that book. Mm-hmm. Like, I do see that moving the needle. This, I don't really see moving the needle. Where it's always kind of gotten to me when it came to sort of company release spoilers were more when they didn't hype the issue properly, and then all of a sudden it's you better go out and buy this because Cap dies in this issue, and all of a sudden there's a crazy market for this issue.
I think Cap coming back will drag a few people back into the store for it. Not a ton, but I think the people that are reading it will keep reading, and a few people may grab it pre-Legacy and pre the return. Because I definitely know people that are like, no, I'm out. Marvel fucked over Cap. I don't like this, and
it is crazy. I just wish that Nick Spencer would write a book that wasn't so politically charged. Like, I loved his Ant-Man and especially his Sinister Foes. It was so good, but he got so political. Like, I think that people... Well, okay, so I'm projecting. It's just my thoughts. But, like, I read comic books for escape, not for let's dive into the political arena. But all of his stories lately are so politically charged.
But
it's the same story has been politically charged.
Sure. Yeah.
But, again, I'll take the defense of this because a lot of people comment about this online. Comics have always been politically motivated and politically charged. They're fighting a system that is either corrupt or can't do the job that they want to get done. If you look at the earliest days of Superman and Batman, they're not fighting supervillains. They're fighting mob bosses and they're fighting, corrupt politicians. Comics have always been like this. The entire
there's the Green Arrow or Green Lantern and Green Arrow stuff where they were
sure.
It was like the
hard traveling heroes.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean they've at times been more overtly political, but comics have always had a political bent.
Okay.
He's going to go back and read his X-Men now with a whole new life.
Hell, The X-Men may be the most political comic of all time. It's all about, segregation and about,
class and equality
equality was the word I was looking for. Yeah, I mean, these are all in the '60s. That was the most, one of the most hot button issues.
I've nothing to disagree with. So you can, keep going because I have nothing.
But I mean, no, trust me. I like thinly veiled or heavily veiled politics. I don't necessarily want to read a ton of like overtly political comics, but Secret Empire was unintentionally timely.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but a lot of the writers, that's who they are, and so it's going to come out. He's a big political guy, especially online. Like that's going to come out in his writing. It doesn't happen to everyone, but for like Chuck Dixon, super conservative, rarely came out in his writing, if at all. Some people, it comes out a lot more. So that's all I wanted to say. Sorry for spoiling Secret Empire. You should go read it. So Jack,
it's fine.
What?
Secret Empire. Like you say, sorry for spoiling. Like it's not. Nobody's saying it's the best story that they've had in half decade. I've been trying to rank it ever since I've been. So I finished issue 9, and I've been trying to rank it, and to say it falls above Fear itself is literally an insult.
I mean, my problem with Secret Empire,
it's like middle of the pack to me. It's not bad. It's a nice story, but like, why can't you just get like a bunch of Wolverines from the dark Marvel multiverse and have every member of the Avengers be a Wolverine variant? From the dark...
Dude, you're seriously talking about like the hottest comic Marvel's going to publish next year that's going to sell like 500,000 copies.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if that was a Marvel comic, you would be throwing so much shade at Marvel Metal. But like, because they're like,
you have this
great idea.
It came after
we'll have
DC
a Flash
Metal.
Batman, and we'll have a Green Lantern Batman.
That is a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Remember when Marvel did it and they were all Hulks? That was stupid.
No, that's exactly what I texted you about and got probably some dorky answer or not good answer. Or an accurate answer that it just wasn't good.
But
Hulk, Wolverines, or when they did the actual. How does Marvel mess up Wolverines? They had the option. They had a title called Wolverines, and they're like, I like, by the way, how you turn down the volume as soon as I start raising my voice.
No, I didn't touch anything.
How they like had
I
an actual title
post.
called Wolverines, and they could have done anything with it that they wanted, and they could have just made up any BS excuse as to why everybody is a Wolverine variant. But like Scott Snyder is doing I loved Metal. It's nothing but like Jeff Loeb's Hulk Wolverine or Hulks of all sorts and shapes. And who did Wolverines? It doesn't matter.
It was like Charles Soule. Wasn't it Charles Soule and Jeff Lemire or something?
Yeah, but it wasn't like just when they joined.
No, that was the death of Wolverine.
Right, but didn't they do Wolverines
they didn't
too?
continue Wolverines.
No. Wolverines was after the death. I think that they joined at the death of, literally.
Yeah.
No, they wrote that.
That was Charles Soule.
No, that was Charles Soule and Lemire. It was
but I didn't get the sense that, like, when you just join a new company, you can't, like... Anyway, so...
Well, this is my question: is that whole Edge of Venomverse? Like
Venomverse has been pretty popular, legitimately popular. Like I underordered the Edge of. I'm ordering more of the main Venomverse series, and that's exactly the same thing, and it's selling really well.
It's just crazy to me that this whole Metal thing is like we have this brilliant idea that's been done 100 times before with popular characters, like the Spider-Man multiverse. Like how many times has it been done?
That Spider-Verse was the last time Spider-Man was selling really well. Sales tanked tanked relatively after that.
My point is that Metal. I've been enjoying it. By the way, for all the shade that you throw at any zero issue Marvel or DC, like how about the casting and the Forge being basically zero issues that were all just recapped in Metal number 1.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, you're not throwing shade at those ones. But, Metal number 1 was very good. But it's just another, example.
Well, if you remember
by the way,
Secret Empire...
I liked it, and I don't know what Toby was thinking about not liking the Voltron. The Voltron was awesome. Yeah, it was. I'm sorry to say, it was awesome.
When Secret Empire started, I really liked the first couple issues.
Yeah, 0, 1, and 2 were really, really good.
But my concern, and when they say like, "Oh, this is going to change stuff. This is going to matter. This is actually Captain America." Like, why do they even say stuff like that? Because it's bullshit, right?
Wait, is this you listening to like the Marvel corporate again?
Yeah. Why would they tell you that when it's bullshit?
Dude, I know it's bullshit. I don't listen to Marvel corporate, and I'm not surprised. Why do you always set yourself up for expectation failure?
But why would they say that? Why would they come out and be like, no, this time it's real?
Why do you listen to any marketing speak any company ever does ever?
Because of their marketing. Like, that's who we have to listen to.
But you know what marketing is.
Yeah.
And you know that like everything that comes out of their mouth is bullshit, and then salespeople have to go and sell it based on that.
Everything.
And then salespeople like endlessly are frustrated at marketing people. Marketing people. God,
you taking this out, person? You got this? This your? You feeling
this is my little like
work event here or something?
Mini rant. Every job I've ever had as a salesperson is like the constant feud between marketing people who are like, "Oh, we're creating big ups for you salespeople to sell things," and all salespeople are like, "Oh God, you just sit and collect a paycheck, and we're doing all the work, and you guys aren't doing anything," and they're both wrong. And meanwhile, like nobody's making money except for the CEOs. And
so I. Knowing the end of Secret Empire and again, I'm very hopeful for where it goes. I hope that people don't listen to marketing and just read the book and enjoy it. But again, I feel like Secret Empire, it has the problem that a lot of these big events do. If it was like 6 issues, it probably would have been better. There's a lot of filler that they could cut from this book, and I.
Well, I mean, they took something that was a cap story and then just made it line wide, and it, like
I'm not talking even the crossover. I mean, just like the main title. It's hard. It's hard to explain because I feel like you want to show that there's peril, but it feels like it doesn't feel real. Like in Metal,
Can we sum it up in one thing from Secret Empire? It's like being at that Ultron Hank Pym dinner. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
Like, you could completely cut that out, and it would not... Like, that issue could go entirely, and it wouldn't change a single thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't... I mean, maybe you can... We're going to go to marketing, right?
With the Ultron Hank Pym dinner, what?
Yeah, and the whole issue of Secret Empire where they had the... Ultron.
I think you've repressed.
Yeah.
The entire issue where Ultron kidnapped the entire like good guy team and had dinner with them and yelled at them a bunch.
Yeah, I did.
And they're like, here's the cosmic cube fragment.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a way to do this story really well, and it's a cool idea, but maybe they just got so scared and they're just like, fuck, just rush it out. Because the last couple issues, I don't know if you noticed, it's been telling from a point of view like post the event, so they've sort of just
I have noticed
brushed
I
over.
I haven't liked it, although I don't like it because I don't like Sam Wilson as Captain America. It's like Falcon's not a good enough character. Then he's going
to be Falcon again, right? I mean, and Legacy. So this is it. He's not Cap.
I did not know that. That's a spoiler level 1 bullshit.
You signed up for Venom. You signed up for Falcon #1.
By the way, just because I signed up for every freaking Marvel book,
he's going to repress this in 5 minutes and
on your list doesn't mean that I know what I'm signing up for. I literally
that's your own fault.
Yeah, but did you give me a list? No. Did I say I want everything? Yes.
You said,
sign me up for everything?
Hey, that list you sent in that legacy thing you had in the newsletter, sign me up for all those. Okay, I assumed you looked at it.
Literally not what I said. I said, can I get a set of the lenticular #1s? And you said, idiot, sure. Well, I think your exact text.
Well, I'll throw in some Futures End #1 lenticulars, because those are lenticular. I mean, I guess you didn't specify, so.
I think that I already have all those, so no need to double up. But thank you. Yeah, I don't know.
But as someone that is a big Marvel fanboy, because whatever I say about Secret Empire, you're just gonna blow off. But
nobody cares.
What do you? I mean, you're up to 9, right? You're up to the most recent issue.
Yeah,
what do you think?
So as I mentioned earlier, better than fear itself is more of an insult than a compliment.
It just goes to Charlie and Brock too. I want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, I would say that it's probably middle tier / below the 50% mark. I think that they've had some good events, contrary to maybe popular belief. I don't think that it's bad. It's been a good superhero knockabout. I just personally have so much trouble imagining this whole and look, this is all with the giant asterisk of it's not Cap, right? And that it's cosmic cube related. So it's hard to say.
Falcon's barely been in it though. It's been mostly Black Widow and
it's Black Widow.
What's mostly Black Widow?
And virtual Tony Stark.
And Tony Stark.
No, it's been a great collection of all of them. Mostly Black Widow. No.
So
not even Charlie would like that comment.
Here's my general issue with Secret Empire, and it's not really a reflection of the book itself. It's just the way I'm approaching it. I felt the same way when Siege was going on and they announced the Heroic Age. The second they announced Legacy, the second they kind of got me excited for what comes after it, I've just kind of been trying to wait out Secret Empire.
That's a great point. That's a very good point.
That's why I feel they're just we just got to get the shit out and get it out as fast as possible.
That's where I'm kind of... The event itself doesn't matter to me right now. What comes after it matters to me.
So is that a factor of nowadays? I mean, compared to those days, communication is just shit gets spoiled immediately.
I think part of it is just what we've talked about in terms of fatigue of Tony Stark's not around, Captain America's not Captain America.
Except Tony Stark's all over this book.
Well, yeah, but...
he has more, more dialogue than Black Widow.
Yeah, but my point basically is he's not the traditional Tony Stark right now because it's the AI. I don't really have a problem with the story they're telling. I'm just looking forward to that reset. I'm looking forward to Spider-Man being more like Spider-Man, Iron Man being that's why I'm excited for Legacy. That's why I'm excited for what comes after this, because to me, that is the return of all the characters that I've been missing.
Well, I think it's just it's partly just it's so close. It's Marvel seems to always just cram one thing next to another when it comes to event books. It's one event rolls right into the next event, rolls right in the next event, and we don't get time to get back to the characters that we enjoy and seeing stories about those characters because they're just thrust into another event.
This is going to be the challenge about Legacy because while Legacy I guess itself is an event, but there's not going to be a major event book at this point for another year and a half. And while people bitch about the event books, they are always the top selling titles. So Marvel, unless they course correct in 6 months and decide to put out a major event, they're going to be reliant on their ongoing titles for the next year to carry them. So there's a lot of pressure for these books to succeed because right now, outside Secret Empire and Star Wars, Marvel doesn't have too many books publishing over 40,000 copies, which is historic low for them. So they really need the Legacy stuff to catch on. And again, I'm super hopeful. I think some of these books are exactly what people want. Some of them are going to come over the course of a story arc or two. I think there's a number that are going to underperform, but it's the same ones that are underperforming now. But Mark Waid on Cap, that sounds awesome. He's done great runs on Cap in the past. I hope there's a return because I'm selling 12, 14 issues, both Cap and 9 or 10 of Sam Wilson and 10 or 12 of Steve Rogers, maybe a 15. That's again historic low for that title in the middle of a crossover too. You want those books selling 40, 50 copies at stores like ours.
But to me, they've already kind of started a lot of that shift with X-Men Gold. That feels like a more classic X-Men book to me.
I agree.
And that's what I'm expecting or hoping for out of Legacy is more books that just kind of feel like I'm just reading a strong Cap story, a strong X-Men story, a strong Iron Man story.
I think X-Men was a test run.
Yeah.
Well, X-Men Gold is I really enjoyed X-Men Gold. X-Men Blue is not... I haven't enjoyed it at all. Weapon X, I was enjoying it, but it just felt like it was a lead-in story to a team up with. Totally
again,
awesome
I don't mind
Hulk,
little crossovers.
So.
I mean, that's not an event, right? But there's weak spots in the X-Men books. I mean, Iceman obviously sales are terrible. Jean Grey sales aren't great, although I've enjoyed it. I know Bryce, you hate it. Blue is vastly underperforming. Blue is not doing nearly as good as Gold, and in the sales, even on Gold, the sales fell pretty dramatically, pretty quick. It's still doing well, but not as well as a mainline X-Men title. And I would bet anyone at this table that by the end of 2018, those books are called X-Men and Uncanny X-Men again. I don't think there's any way they stick around as X-Men Blue.
Well,
and Gold.
I mean, Astonishing has been okay.
Yeah, I was going to say Astonishing and Gold are
those are
my choice for.
But they've only had 2 issues.
Right.
Astonishing has only had 2 issues. X-Men Gold is
you've read Astonishing, right?
Right. Yes.
Again, it feels like a sort of return to a classic X-Men.
Yeah, I agree.
Setup.
After 2 issues, which means nothing. Blue and Gold, I've loved both. I mean,
but
shocker.
Blue still
spoiler
feels,
level 3.
Blue feels more like a continuation of what they've been doing on X. And I'm not saying they can't have a book that's a continuation on what they've been doing with X-Men for the past couple of years. Where Gold, and this is, I hate to say it, but this comes down to toys. This comes down to statues and so many other things. Like, I'm at that point where it's like I would rather sit down and read 90s X-Men than any X-Men that's been published in a long time. I'd rather return back to the Yeah, I know.
Oh, I've been watching in the background.
Yes.
The X-Men in the Savage Land with Kazar going on in the background here at the store.
Oh, it's incredible.
Classic.
I'm always eyeballing the statues by Kota Bukiya, just going, and if that was the 90s Cyclops, I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It's just, those are the versions of the characters that I closely associate with, and
we all love virgins.
But the thing is the characters haven't progressed and developed, even with slight costume changes or something, to keep your interest.
No, I know what you mean, Charlie.
Yeah.
No, I but the other thing is going back to what you're saying. If it's not keeping your interest, you're not. But is it keeping anybody new coming in? I mean, a kid coming in and seeing a Cyclops statue after reading an X-Men book, are they going to be like, oh, well, I enjoyed that, or are they just going to be like, it's okay?
But I mean, so I'm a huge fan of the Diamond diorama sets that they've been putting out for like Marvel, and like I snatched up both versions of the Phoenix, the good and the Dark Phoenix, and
that's rare for Charlie. Yeah. Charlie doesn't do that kind of stuff.
And you haven't really seen that Phoenix in the books other than flashbacks or the one shot in a long time.
Yeah, because I mean, Generations did what? How well did that do?
The Phoenix one? I mean, we sold out of everything. We did pretty well with them. Other stores are telling me they haven't sold a lot, but I bumped my numbers not a ton over the regular title, but I definitely bumped my number quite a bit, and we sold out of almost everything. So,
well, in
Generations
either
have been
case,
pretty good.
Confirmed, Charlie doesn't like Jean Grey Phoenix.
That's why I bought 2 statues of Jean Grey Phoenix.
But it is confirmed that he's the #1 Cable fan.
Under duress. Oh, no, that's not true.
I will say I appreciated the tweet of the 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, whoever sent that. I will remember your name.
Well, actually, I think the main reason why I like that is I have a feeling if we really started to qualify all the things that you want to be the #1 fan of between X-Men and everything else, you'd be a lot higher number.
No. I would be the #1 Cable fan, and that's it. I would be the number 0 Deadpool fan, which still keeps me at 1. The number 0 Gambit fan, which still keeps me at 1. And I'm still beating you,
speaking of number 1, speaking of number 1, let's talk about another number 1.
Look at you, Justin Haywell.
I know, that's me. Let's talk about
it's not you.
What most people would consider the most important comic artist in all of comic book history, and that is Jack Kirby. Jacob Katzberg, born August 28th, 1917. That was just a few days ago. It was Monday as of recording, so yesterday. Jack Kirby, more commonly known to us as Jack Kirby.
The King.
Celebrated Jack the King Kirby, celebrating his 100th birthday, where he's still alive, passed away February 6th, 1994. I actually remember him dying. I was in the store when we found out that he had passed away. I don't remember if it was like the same day, but I remember being...
Was that like on the news?
No, I mean, people were talking about it.
Somebody call in?
This was 94. Nobody did any of that stuff. Just pre-Twitter, so nobody knew about it.
Twitter podcast question.
Somebody paged you. Pager code, and you read it.
Pagers even 94? I mean, maybe. I wouldn't have had one.
Pagers? I don't think so.
Yeah, no, they were 94.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before. I appreciate the hell out of Jack Kirby. He is not my favorite artist of all time, but there is no denying his contribution to comics. The characters that he created and co-created, whether it's Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Hulk. Go over to DC. You have the entirety of the New Gods, resurrecting what's his face, Jimmy Olsen. That entire title. I mean, creating Darkseid alone is one of the greatest achievements in DC's history. Easily one of the best villains of all time. Yeah. I don't think there's anyone that can deny Kirby's spot in comics as the most important artist that has ever drawn
and
comics.
The amount of art he was able to create in a very short period of time.
Multiple books a month.
Insane as an artist to be able to crank out that quality consistently for
held the record for ongoing comic for quite a while. Fantastic Four, 100 issues in a row. A couple artists have broken it in more recent years, but
that was more manufactured, like Mark Bagley on Ultimate Spider-Man. I think broke that record.
Like Dave Sim did 300 issues of Cerebus. I mean, obviously that's ridiculous. But and other indie guys have done similar lengths. But like Mark Bagley and Ultimate Spider-Man. Someone else
has Jim Lee come close?
No.
He's also so prolific.
Jim Lee?
Yeah.
He never drew anything long term.
Longer than 25 issues? He
didn't even do that many issues of Uncanny back in the day. He did what, maybe 20 in a row?
He did a couple. He did a couple on Uncanny,
fill-ins?
and they had him do Uncanny X-Men, and that only ran for
X-Men, you mean?
13, or the regular X-Men. Yeah.
He only did 4 issues of that or something.
All right,
no, it was 13. Because it's his artwork up through.
He was doing covers and stuff. He didn't do every issue.
Either way, he's done a massive amount of comics, just not consecutive.
Yes, thank you, Charlie.
He really has it. Jack Kirby or Jim Lee has really not drawn that many comics compared to some of these guys. But I mean,
did you say Jack Kirby or did you say Jim Lee?
Jim Lee, but definitely not compared to Jack Kirby.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's just a generational issue of me just not knowing. But I'm talking about artists that have, even scratched the surface of Jack Kirby's, contribution to the industry. Undisputed. One of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Yep. So 100 years. Let's see what his characters are up to in another 100 years. And I know the family
I'll be here for that one.
Yeah, we won't be.
We will be.
We'll call in.
Happy birthday. The Fantastic Four doesn't exist, Jack.
There is not a Fantastic Four comic being published currently.
We got some questions. Let's set up some of these. Got a bunch. Let's see. Stefano asks, this is one of his questions from last week. This may be one of the ones we missed. Some stuff got edited out, so hopefully we're not doubling up on some of this.
And if we are, we're not sorry. Spoiler level 3.
And Bryce won't remember.
He says, can you speak more about the push and pull between retailers and subscription box holders? Yeah.
You want to retell your story?
Which one?
Oh, such a good story.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you want me to, I can, because that was one of the things that got cut out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we want you to? I'm
Yes.
not sure that we do.
I'll keep the political talk out of it this time,
No,
as much as possible.
Bridges, but of the internets.
What?
Internet bridges and
Breitbart,
So,
What are you
and,
talking
and,
World of
about?
Warcraft.
and milkshakes and women.
this is one of the questions.
I like one of those.
Gold farming.
This is one of the questions I got asked last week that we got cut out because of our computer problem. So I will retell the story in probably a much quicker way this way. A couple of weeks ago, there was a lot of talk. Myself, John, and the guys over at Big Bang Comics in Dublin, and a few other stores were having this conversation online about subscription holders.
Yeah, Big Bang had a huge Twitter thread going
They had
on.
a big thread about it.
God, like drama, like high school girls.
Well, so this has been going on. This is nothing new. This has been happening for decades. But every now and again, it's good to bring up in that when you sign up for a subscription at a comic book store, you are not just having the store put books aside for you because they're nice and maybe you'll buy them and maybe you won't. The understanding is that you are having them held for you so you can then pick them up. These are copies that are basically being ordered specifically for the subscription box holders. And most stores are fine if you out or drop stuff. Some are very specific where you have to pre-order issues and you cannot unsubscribe for those once you've pre-ordered them on a month-to-month basis. But most people like us have just a standing order. And if you tell me you don't want Infamous Iron Man, which Charlie has right here in front of him, that's fine. I don't mind putting one copy back on the shelf. It happens. Sure, whatever. Not a big deal. What has happened over the course of the last few months, though, is there's been a big push by a group called Diversity in Comics. This is a group of people from a YouTube channel, multiple YouTube channels, multiple Twitter accounts, and they have decided to take to the internet to do all sorts of massive harm to the comic book industry in various forms.
It's like the milkshake thing.
Yes, not unlike various ways trolls in other areas of the current world will spread misinformation and let's call it fake news.
Pizzagate?
Actual fake news. What these guys have decided to do is that they are decided to, and much like our good friends over in the video game industry, Gamergate, not our good friends Gamergate, our good friends at the video game industry and them having to deal with Gamergate. What these people have decided to do, the irony is it's called Diversity in Comics, and that's the last thing they want. But this is what the group is called. They've decided to go and...
well, I think we don't want diversity in comics is too long of a term.
It doesn't fit in the YouTube name. They've decided to go and harass female employees of comic book companies, really push forward anger to the companies when they try new titles like Miss Marvel or Iceman at Marvel, and have now in recent days turned their anger towards comic book retailers. So if you guys listening heard a story, we may have even mentioned, I don't remember, about Make Mine Milkshake. It was I
don't think we talked about this one.
Yeah, it was a hashtag that went around a few months ago where a bunch of female employees at Marvel were harassed on Twitter after one of them posted a selfie of themselves, her and a bunch of the female workers at Marvel, a bunch of the editors went out and had milkshakes one night. And Stefan, yes, this goes to pull box stuff. Trust me, this is a long way to get to your question, but this was the conversation we had last week that I want to kind of talk about it again. This group decided to attack these women and were telling them, hey, you suck. Why don't you stop drinking milkshakes and go make some good comic books? And why are you going to be such SJWs and blah, blah, blah. Get out. You ruin Marvel. So this group attacked these women over this one picture. And Marvel, or DC and Archie and a bunch of other companies kind of responded with pictures of all the women at their companies drinking milkshakes in solidarity.
Everybody
with Marvel.
Everybody.
Mostly women. But yes, sure. Some of them had men too. And this became a bit of a rallying cry for people being like, hey, what the fuck are these dicks on Twitter? Why are they harassing these poor women, right? Like they're just doing their job. Like it just fucking trolls on the internet, right?
I know,
mean,
it's crazy
it never ends.
much broadcast time we spend on these guys.
Well, so this comes back to this conversation that we were having, and what happened here was these guys decided to then attack John and then at Big Bang, myself, and a couple of these other comic book store owners.
You deserve it, let's be real.
Saying that, no, comic book stores, you're just supposed to get your subscription, and if you don't want stuff, it doesn't matter. They're not legally obligated to charge you for them. And then
I like how non-retailers is trying to set the rules.
Well, right.
Yeah.
These guys are specifically trying to harm the comic book industry by spreading misinformation about the requirements of a pull box at your local comic book store. So if you follow these guys, some doomy guy is one of them. You know who they are if you follow them. Do me a favor. Really look at who they are, who they're talking to. Go through their at replies and look at what they're saying to other people. Man, they're a bunch of assholes, and don't listen to anything they say. Unfollow them, unsubscribe, block them, report them. They are trolls of the highest level, of the highest caliber, and they are really trying to do some harm to the comic industry. While there are elements of what they say that I agree with, I think that Marvel has pushed too hard on the non-popular characters that they have. I feel like Marvel does need to get back to basics on some of this stuff. But I would never say, don't publish Miss Marvel and Iceman. I would never say, fire the female creators or homosexual creators that are involved in any of these. And many of them aren't even that, but of course they're aiming at the minorities and women to try to drive them out of the industry. It's absolutely ridiculous what these people are putting some of these creators and editors and now comic store owners through. And yeah, if you have a pull list at your local comic shop, you're obligated to pick those books up if you order them. Don't be an asshole. If you can't afford it, don't sign up for a subscription box. If you want to drop a book, tell your local comic shop you want to drop it.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is if you lose your job, just go in and tell them you lost your job. They're not going to be like, well, you still, it's like if you pick up your books on a regular basis and you come in and say, I lost my job, they're like, okay, are we keeping your pull list open?
Yeah.
If you say yes and then you don't come in, you're an ass.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's...
Yeah, no, it's... If someone comes in and says, I need to close my box, they're more than welcome to come back and open it again at any time, assuming they didn't stick me with a bunch of stuff. If you just never show up again, I mean, you're not blacklisted from the store, but I'm not going to open a box for you again.
Elaine Bennis.
So, yes, soup Nazi, yes. No soup for you.
No.
What? Yeah, they kick her out of the...
No, Elaine Bennis, that's the Chinese food restaurant.
Oh, right. For the delivery?
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, would she hit him with her car or something like that? Is that what happened?
Yeah. No, that was later, but yeah.
It's all the same. It's fine. She got banned from a lot of places.
No. She ordered from across the street because she didn't want to pay, because they wouldn't deliver to her address.
Oh, right. So she goes across again. I remember.
Yeah, Higgins
Seinfeld.
and I are the only people that like
old
Seinfeld.
white people.
Yeah,
old white people shows.
Yeah, that's me and Higgins.
So yeah. Don't be a dick, and don't follow these guys, and don't screw your local comic shop.
It's crazy how much audio time these guys have gotten.
I know.
Good for them.
Yeah.
It's exactly what they want.
Well, we're just doing a public service announcement.
This is from Tyler. He says, out of Charlie and Bryce, who is Cable and who is Strife? And of course we know the answer to that. Charlie's Cable and Bryce is Strife. It's not even a question.
Look, listen to me very carefully. This is Bryce talking. As the number one Cable fan...
Isn't Strife
Charlie
the number
is
one Cable?
And I am Strife. There's no... I mean, look, Cable loves Charlie loves everything, which is to say that Cable loves everything, which is not true, but he likes a lot effing more than Strife does. Strife is an IDIOT and a mean person and a DICK. What? I'm trying to limit the swearing. I'm trying to...
Kid listening to the show or something?
You're spelling out idiot and dick? Just say it.
Confirmed. Brock swears more on this podcast than Bryce does.
You didn't say fucking idiot or fucking dick.
Spoiler level 3.
Oh, worst host ever, level 4, Ryan Higgins. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm definitely Strife. I'm the cloned, more perfect version of Charlie. That's good. So I was looking at my Hearthstone on my phone. Charlie is in a lot of ways elements of the man that I would like to be, in terms of him being very handsome, very tall. He has a good family, a good house, a good job. I mean, really, what's not to love about Charlie? I mean,
he looks more like Josh Brolin.
He likes a lot more bad DC books, and he agrees with Higgins a bunch. But yeah, no, Charlie is just like Cable, otherwise perfect. Strife, on the other hand, is me, who's a badass, also very handsome. And yeah, there you go. So I'm the evil twin brother that's more handsome. You're welcome, Charlie.
I'll take it.
We're agreed then. More handsome and more badass and more awesome.
Tyler also asked Toby.
And yet you always lose.
You didn't get a chance to read Nightwing the New Order yet, did you?
I'm not unfamiliar with that, unfortunately.
Someone named Ryan Higgins has been on top of me about buying my books.
Has he? Tell me more about that.
So I actually bought that book, which means it goes home. And then today, because of that tweet, I was going to read it because, for some reason we just didn't start the recording of this podcast in forever. So I got plenty of time to read it. But someone had to sell out of this book.
Actually, we sold a lot of copies. I sold out. Yeah, I'm really unexpected.
Yeah, you sold out. Tell me something we don't know.
Of a DC book?
And your other copies at home.
I will talk about it next week.
Next week.
I will actually try and find it at home, which is a rarity.
Charlie, I have a feeling this question's for you because I don't think any of us else
Charlie,
read it.
before you answer that, can you answer me, is this Doctor Who?
Yes, it's Doctor Who. It's the Gunfighters.
Why are we...
I want
see this.
I want this.
This is bad radio. Keep going.
It doesn't matter. It's been distracting me for like 20 minutes.
I know there's big hardcovers of this. At least I think there is. So I feel like Charlie is the one to answer this question. Charlie, did you read Letter 44 by Charles Soule? Isn't there big hardcovers of that?
I think there's one.
Not that I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that was a question. I don't think any of us had read it. It's Charles Soule book just finished, and sorry, Steve, none of us here have read it. I
read issue 1 a long time ago.
Yeah, I've heard good things, but no, none of us have read it. So sorry, Stephen. That answers this question. None of us have read it.
Next
yeah, I know. Well, I wasn't sure if Charlie did. That's why.
Even more great area. I think the companions are hotter in the
question.
old Doctor Who's than the new ones. I may have to start watching this instead of the new stuff.
Bigger Anglophile, Tobias or Higgins?
Huh?
We may never know.
Next question's from Sarah. She says, general thoughts on the Hellboy reboot, necessary, tolerable, or an insult to Guillermo del Toro? No other Hellboy movie was going to happen under Guillermo del Toro because that dude never finishes anything. So,
well, he couldn't get it greenlit anyways.
No, dude never does anything. We've had this conversation. I know I've had it on the Geekbox. I'm pretty sure I've had it here too. Guillermo del Toro starts like 9 billion projects and does like one of them.
I've heard about that.
Yeah. The dude has so much stuff in the pipeline that's never going to happen.
He loves so much stuff, he can only get a little bit out of it.
Disagree. They never greenlit a third Hellboy movie.
No, they never greenlit anything the guy does. He's had like 6 movies and been tied to like 400. Like, if this guy's tied to a movie, it's not going to happen. Hellboy is like an accident that 2 got out.
So, either way, Hellboy 1 and 2 were amazing. Hellboy 3, unfortunately, is never going to happen. So I'll take the reboot.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
I'm curious about it being rated R, though. That's a little weird.
Well, Hellboy was, over 10 years ago, right?
Hellboy 2?
No, 1.
What? Definitely.
Yeah, Hellboy 1 was...
Like early 2000s?
It was same year as like Iron Man, if I recall.
No, it was earlier than that. Wasn't it like 2004? Yeah, way early. Yeah, 13 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, getting a new person to play Hellboy, I don't mind the R rating because I mean,
the only thing about Hellboy that seems R rated to me would be the potential for nudity. That maybe that's what maybe there's going to be nudity in it because
they might actually have like gore.
But Hellboy's not like Hellboy's never been super gory. It's not a super violent. I mean, it's a dark comic, but it's not violent. Not like Crossed or like a horror movie. It's never really been like that.
They could make it really scary though.
They could, maybe.
Yeah.
An R-rated Hellboy seems weird. But like it makes sense with Deadpool and it makes sense with Punisher, even though those comics were rarely R-rated. I mean, for the most part, Deadpool has never been R-rated. The Deadpool movie's raunchier than that's the only thing, and that was an oddity.
1% of Deadpool, shit.
Most Deadpool is actually fairly PG. And for the most part, so is Punisher.
But the thing is those characters can go there.
Yeah, sure, right.
Right, you're not really going to want to see an R-rated Fantastic Four movie.
No, but I think Hellboy. The only way it could, it wouldn't be overt violence on Hellboy's part. It would just have to be like demons and But it would come off weird if he's swearing and like ripping people's guts out and there's a bunch of nudity everywhere. That's not really Hellboy.
Maybe because he's smoking a cigar, it's now an R-rated movie.
Yeah, maybe.
Was that a thing? I thought that
got rid
smoking cigarettes. Oh, they got rid of that?
No, well they just toned down the amount of cigarettes they were using, but it didn't affect.
That was a Hollywood thing that cigarettes now made it an R-rated movie. I thought that was a real thing.
It's something
it would be the first time I was ever wrong.
Well, like Constantine, the current run on Hellblazer, he smokes.
Yeah.
And
they've changed that. And the little Kirby head on all the DC comics, he's got a cigar in his. Yeah. They've thrown that away for the comics.
Yeah.
At least he's not.
But I mean, Hellboy, I can see going R just in terms of making it really dark and scary. It doesn't have to be gore. It doesn't have to be massive amounts of nudity. It could just be an overall tone.
Yeah,
a nice amount of nudity. Not massive. You're right.
He's had a boner since Sunday.
Wow, that's from spoiler alert, level 3.
That's it, only level 3.
I'm just wondering why Brock knows this.
It's not Viagra.
Yeah, why does Brock know that?
Spoiler alert, level 1. Bryce's boner since what did you say? Sunday.
Sunday.
That's like super aggressive. Shouldn't I call the doctor?
Yeah, you should, but you haven't taken any medication, so
yeah, I should definitely call the doctor, bro.
It's just an external thing.
No, medication or no. If you have a boner for several days, you call the doctor. That's like.
Random tourists on Twitter. And this goes back to our Secret Empire conversation, but a little more specific question. He says, do you feel like Secret Empire was rewritten with the additional artists, Vanishing Point, and Generations not really tying into the main story, Nazi Cap and the real Cap being separate?
No, it was always supposed to be mediocre.
But, I mean, do you feel like they maybe...
Charlie, do you disagree? Charlie, you like everything, including my opinion.
I don't disagree with the fact that I don't think it was rewritten or anything.
You're welcome.
Well, even the whole
confirm Bryce is right.
Cap and
the shirt.
Cap and the other Cap stuff that was
whoa! Spoiler level 1.
First issue, second issue.
I think it was.
Is it end of the second issue?
It was the end of the second issue.
Yeah. So that was early.
But that's Kobik World. But I mean, I think what
spoilers, bro.
Fuck, I don't give a shit.
But what level? Nobody knows.
Cares.
Never gonna live this down.
Fuck.
It was
nobody cares.
It is something like classic Higgins. Like, what were you thinking?
No, I'm sorry. To answer the question, I think the additional artists were not intentional from the beginning. I think they kind of sped this up a little bit.
That's the problem. Like, I think the thing is there's the story going on in Manhattan with Doctor Strange. There's the story going on in space with Captain Marvel. Yeah. There's the story going on with, there's a lot of stuff going on in just the title itself. And it kind of feels like, honestly, they said, oh, well, it kind of feels like there's a little more influence at times. Like, okay, what would you do? What would Doctor Strange do? Or what would, it's like they were talking to the people who were writing those titles and saying, well, how could this work with this character?
Oh, I mean, that's usually what they do. I just assumed that they would have expanded out those stories more in the crossovers.
But they didn't.
But it seems like a lot of it was in the main title. Well, his comment about Generations not tying in, as far as I know, Generations was never supposed to be part of Secret Empire. The belief was that it was going to be it was going to tie in heavily with Legacy, which they didn't seem to, but with the Thor issue, they're starting to. So I think there's actually...
But see, there's no really big change going with Thor because it's still Aaron, isn't it?
Right, but what I mean is
Aaron continuing through just like he continued through with his female Thor when it was relaunched again.
No, that's not what I mean. The Legacy, the one-shot...
Yeah.
These Generation books seem fairly disconnected from... They seem to be just kind of these one-off random stories.
Yeah, no, it's a, hey... I got popped here next to you. Let's do a little team up, and then we're done.
But the whole Odin and Phoenix thing, that is a direct lead-in to Legacy. That's the whole, what do they call, the Avengers BC or something like that? I forget what they're calling them. That is a prelude, a direct prelude to Legacy #1 and the appearance of that Avengers
again,
team.
that's Jason Aaron.
Right. But I think the other titles may. I feel like there's at least some reference, but I don't know. But at least there's one of them. At least one of them is important.
One of them has a reference, but again, Thor for Aaron, he's been through what? How many renumberings on his run on Thor? 3 or 2?
The way I kind of look at it is even the issues he wrote for Secret Wars had a kind of loose tie-in. Mm-hmm. So he's not letting all this stuff affect his overall narrative.
Next question. Because nobody cares about Secret Empire.
Tom asked basically, what is the point of Generations? Which I feel, again, some of it's just setting up stories. Just kind of like, hey, look, it's Phoenix and Jean Grey. You should it feels good to read these characters together, and hopefully you like the new one if you like the old one.
You're a horrible salesman.
Well, very quick,
pretty sure that's not true, confirmed by his over-decade-long stint as a independent business.
I wasn't trying to sell it right there. I was just giving him the quick
Even
point.
If he failed, he succeeded in my heart. I will buy anything you sell, Higgins, except for what?
Because you just love Marvel. And that
Dude,
boner's
I'm on
not
record
from
as
Marvel.
loving DC as well. And Image. Oh, and by the way, Cal Exit by Dark Mask Comics. Totally
Black
random.
Mask, yeah.
Very good book. I just added to my pull list. Dark Masks.
Black Mask.
Black Masks, even better title than Dark Mask. It's a DC name in any capacity. Cal Exit, good book. Go buy number 1. You're welcome.
Yeah. But he says, can you explain Marvel's vanishing point as well? And the vanishing point, as far as we know, is a world that Kobik. It's like, please let her go away. Please let her go away.
Can you say it with a more obnoxious
Charlie,
voice? I don't think that's possible.
You actually read Secret Empire number 10. Can you just give me a wink if Kobik
No.
vanishes?
Spoiler level 1, I'm out of here!
No, that's a legit spoiler. I just hope Kobik goes away.
He actually needed to go to the bathroom, so you can talk.
But Marvel Vanishing Point, Marvel Vanishing Point is Kobik's world that she created
it's her escape, because she's trying to protect herself from. Yeah.
This is like post Thunderbolts, post Cap, pre Secret Empire. This happened. I was not reading those books, so I don't know when that happened. I don't know if they ever. I don't think they ever showed it. I assume maybe it happened in Thunderbolts, but as far as I know, that's something solely going on in Secret Empire, which we just kind of found out about. So,
just think of it as like the same kind of stuff that happened in like Heroes Reborn, where when you have somebody with that power level, they can create their own little reality.
Right. Cisco says, similar to one of the questions before, he says, do you think Spencer's been lying about the end of Secret Empire, or did Marvel's top brass force their own ending? And again, I think it's just kind of like what Bryce was talking about.
Apparently, I have not read anything about what Spencer said about the end of Secret Empire.
He said that Cap was Cap. There was no other Cap. This isn't going to be retcon. This isn't going to go away. It's not a fake out. It's not an imaginary story. It's not a what if. And it's like, well, I mean, the real Cap's in Kobik's world. The fake Cap is there. The idea of Cap.
I could argue. Damn it. I'm not spoiling things.
Let me guess. The two get meshed together.
I'm not spoiling things.
Holy shit, I didn't see that coming.
I mean, yeah. So, no, I don't think Spencer lied. Look, talk about Star Wars again. I think he was telling the truth from a certain point of view.
Oh my
okay,
fucking god.
Yeah. Hey, nice. You like that? It's good, huh? Pizza in my heart. Yeah. It's good.
Nobody knows what Higgins is talking about.
Yeah. No, we're trying not to spoil the end of Secret Empire.
I'm trying not to spoil the end of Secret
Which
Empire.
Which level are we not spoiling?
This is spoiler 3. This is spoiler 3. So.
Well, you're an ass.
That's why I'm not spoiling it.
I'm refusing to spoil it.
Thank you,
I refuse.
Charlie. The
Put my foot
only
down.
nice co-host on the podcast, including Toby.
But you're Strife,
not
so
nice
if
at
you
all.
think I'm nice...
We got a couple questions here.
We're basically the same person, and we sell awesome lenticular variants.
Lenticular variants, very good segue. We got a couple questions here.
What can I say except you're welcome?
We got a couple questions here from a few different people who asked a very similar one. Mike is the one that I have up here, so I'm going to read his question just because it's the first one I see. He says, any thoughts on Marvel lenticular cover debacle with various retailers not carrying them due to the requirements to get said covers? And
God, debacle.
Did we... maybe this was one of the other questions that we got that they got deleted out of last week's episode.
No, we didn't even talk about it. I mean.
Did we or no?
I don't think so.
So, I'm of 3 minds of this. Now, just looking at Bryce. Okay, no, he's looking away. Okay, no, I'm actually.
I was looking away because I was chewing because I didn't want to. Okay.
I actually am. I actually am of 3 minds of this. So.
Oh, is it level 3 of your mind?
Quick explanation, and then I'll tell you my thoughts. Quick explanation.
Oh God.
There is no quick explanation with Marvel math.
Marvel is not letting retailers order as many copies as they want of the lenticular covers for Legacy of all the ongoing series, not the one shot. We can order as many as we want of the one shot. The ongoing Marvel comics, there's I believe 30 of them, 29 or 30 of them in October.
Okay,
they're going to have these lenticular covers.
For first-time listeners, this is the exact same argument Higgins has had with Marvel forever.
Right, and that's one of my points.
Is that point number 1,
yes,
0, 3,
yes.
2? My point for the new listeners that you didn't qualify beforehand, which would have helped them, is that you've complained about this every time.
Right. So here's what's happening.
I am right.
This is
Confirmed.
not
The Bryce
new.
is right.
What Marvel does is, in order to get these variant covers, you have to order 120%, 150%, 175% of some other comic. So if you want to get Avengers number 20, you have to order 150% of your Avengers number 17 order, and then you can get as many copies of the lenticular as you want. You're going to have a bunch of extra copies of the base cover, and now you can get more copies of the variant if you want. But you have to order X copies of the regular cover as well. And this is the thing. Bryce, you're 100% correct. This is not new. This has been going on for like 5 years at Marvel.
Right.
But Legacy is where every retailer fucking on the world that has apparently decided to take a stand. Hilariously enough.
Whoa, stop. What did you say? Every retailer on the fucking face of the world?
Many
what was your exact quote?
Many retailers.
My local recall is not very good, but it was something along the lines of every retailer in the world.
Retailers on both sides have decided to take a stand. Okay, many retailers.
Both sides?
There's many sides.
Many retailers have decided to take a stand against Marvel.
Many retailers, more than one.
Yes, 70
More than Ryan.
70 to date have come out and said that they are not, including big stores, including
Big Ben Comics from Ireland.
Biggest Lone Star said they can't do it. I don't know my comic shop, or is it my comic shop?
My comic shop is Lone Star, bro.
Right.
It's the same.
So it must be my comic shop. It must be their mail order guys aren't qualifying for it, which is a huge deal.
What do you mean aren't? Okay, keep going. Just you go.
They have decided that it is too difficult to offer these books, so they are not offering the lenticular covers. And again, I agree with all these retailers. My question is, where have they been for the last 5 years? Because this is the same shit they pull every single month.
Yeah, how annoying is this argument?
It's really weird that people are taking this one to take a stand against. So we actually are carrying them because I've had a ton of people ask for these. We've pre-sold a lot of sets. And the way my math has worked for the last 5 years on this has been like this. If I could sell significantly more copies of the variant than I'm going to get stuck with of the base cover, then I'll do it.
Yeah, dude.
For the last couple months.
That's economics.
Yeah, the Jim Lee covers, the Jean Grey variant covers from Marvel. Yeah, I got stuck with like 8 copies of America, but I sold like 50 copies of the Jim Lee cover. So for me, that's just profit, right? If it's a case where I may sell a copy or two, it's not worth it. But these legacy copies, I'm going to sell probably 50, 60, maybe 75 copies of the lenticular.
Dude, that's what I don't understand.
Across the board.
We're just ordering
title.
Legacy #1 for free Halloween comic book day.
Well,
and comic day at this point.
Yeah, that's different though. Like, yeah. Dude, I've heard 100 times over how I can't imagine these lenticular covers aren't going to sell gangbusters.
Yeah,
and even if they're not, if the math doesn't work out, why don't you get on your freaking social media platform and tell everybody about it, which is like the biggest loser way to do it at all. But,
well, Marvel's heard. So when this started, retailers looked at Marvel and they said, no fucking way. The numbers legitimately were outrageous. There was not a chance in hell any store could hit the numbers. So Marvel actually took the numbers down pretty significantly. I would say maybe not significantly enough on a couple of them, but for the most part, they're not so bad. A lot of it has to do with we just don't sell as many copies of some of these books. So literally, half the titles I have to order 5 or fewer extra copies in order to qualify for the lenticular. If I could sell 50 or 75 copies of the lenticular, then sure, I'll order those extra ones. A couple of them, like Thor, the number is still high, but it's a big anniversary issue with a ton of variant covers, and they actually will take your qualifying orders for multiple covers and apply that to qualifying for the lenticular cover, which they didn't do before. So although I disagree, and so this is where I'm kind of 3 minds of this. This is nothing new. I disagree, or I agree with the retailers. Marvel shouldn't do that, but where have you been for the last 5 years? Because they've been doing the same shit forever. And 3, I'm going to sell a fuckload of these, so I'm totally ordering them, and I'll totally qualify for them. So while I agree, this is a case where I actually am going for them. So if you comicsconspiracy.biz, pre-order the lenticular set now. We'll have a ton of them. It's cover price. I'm not charging $10 a book on these. They're retail price from us if you order the set. And actually, the retail price if you come into the store, $3.99. Boom, buy them off the shelf, cover price.
It is crazy I mean, and you've argued for and against this in your previous rants that, like, it's freaking economics.
I can think it's a shitty program, but I can also say when it works, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right. I would prefer. I think Marvel.
Fine. It's like.
I think Marvel
would. A windfall for you.
No. I think Marvel would sell more. Don't worry about me. Marvel would sell more. Full stop. They would sell more if they got rid of this program and had every cover open order.
I know. You keep podcast after podcast. You tell Marvel how they could do better if they listen to you.
This is not a question. They are wrong in this instant. They would sell more, no question asked if they got rid of this program.
Just look at the lenticular cover sales for the button. Like that was the main cover.
They sold like 100,000 copies of each of those alone.
Just of the main, and people still ordered the non-lenticular because it was open order.
You're lecturing me?
No, I'm talking on the mic and talking to you, and I got two people on either fucking side of me.
Well, look,
I don't have Charlie to look because he walked away.
All I can say is that other than having a record low number of swear words in my podcasting career, I will say
somebody's going to count
that Marvel seems to be doing just fine for themselves in spite of Higgins' best advice. And
and again, this was something that
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You're right. No, it's fine. It's right. I saw some back and forth on this from those asshole troll guys. Other people were responding, and well after I blocked them, and people were like, "Guys, no, look at the math. I don't care what you say. Marvel still outsells DC, which is totally true, right? It is totally true."
But I'm sorry. I had I don't use Q-tips. What did you say?
I mean, we talk about this every time we do the sales chart. Marvel outsells DC. Yeah, I mean, even in their problem status, I feel. But that's the thing. You have to look at a per book number, and it could be so much more. Anyway, there's legitimate reason for Marvel to get rid of this program, but it does sometimes work.
It's sort of like I mean, dude, I don't want to belabor it, but it's sort of like your problem with the variants. It's like you freaking complain about variants all TF day, and you move stores. You're a very successful businessman. Like,
when do I complain about variants?
How you throw shade at Marvel whenever they have variants, and whenever DC has variants, you're like, oh well, it's all good, bro.
Well, with DC, I can order as many as I want, so the choice is up to me what I want to do.
Okay.
And they stack.
Confirmed, I'm right for the 11th time this podcast. So anyway, the point is that, you're a great businessman. Marvel also has some semblance of an idea of what they're doing, despite your and Brock's protestations to the opposite. Oh, Charlie is really torn. He wants to agree with me because he likes everything, but he doesn't agree quite completely.
Typically, when the way they do the variant covers with DC, especially when you're talking about the lenticulars and that kind of stuff, because they're completely open and orderable, you still get you do not end up with merchandise left behind. Like, you might have a couple of copies on the shelf, but Ryan specifically orders to maintain a certain amount left over after sort of selling his expected amount. Versus Marvel, when it comes to this kind of stuff, he's ordering knowing that it's going to end up in Free Comic Book Day or in the dollar bin. Like, it is
good for Marvel, but bad for me.
Yeah.
Dude, that's exactly what I'm saying. How you guys are crazy.
Well, Marvel, but you're saying is I agree. Every time this comes up, we end up having the same discussion, which is part of the reason I walked away. But
we should stay away, Charlie.
But
yeah,
you can't really
Says
compare
nobody except for me now.
You can't really compare it's not a Ryan likes DC. It's Ryan agrees with the business practice that DC has for variant covers as a business.
And not just
DC. But yes and no.
Every comic company right now has open order variants except for Marvel. Dude, every single company.
But dudes, I agree with what you're saying in terms of what's best for Higgins. I, on some level, want what's best for Higgins.
But I think it's best for Marvel, too.
At Marvel, you want what's best for Marvel.
But every company has gone the opposite way. Is every other company wrong?
Is every other company making as much as Marvel?
But they're not. I mean, that's not fair.
Well, it's not fair. That's literally what's happening in real life now.
No. You can't compare Marvel sales to like Zenoscope sales. That doesn't count.
What the
Marvel's
Okay, hold on. So what was
a comic company with like 45,000 open order variants.
What was Marvel's percentage last?
I don't remember. I mean, higher than
something?
DC.
Or was it 30 something?
I don't remember
because they're only a third of the market.
When Charlie rolls his eyes at you, you know you're wrong. Bro. I just have to say.
The bottom line is...
I just have to say that is not a Bryce thing. That's a Charlie thing.
The bottom line is Marvel's doing this because it boosts their number. Bryce is completely right about the fact
Confirmed by Charlie.
Bottom line is
you're welcome.
They're trying to boost sales of stuff
that's all I'm saying.
Wouldn't hit certain numbers otherwise.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I'm sorry.
I do kind of feel like this has been made to the point where it has with the lenticular covers, because typically when we're talking variants, we're not talking the Jim Lee covers this way. We're not talking like I kind of feel like this is one of those. Historically, they have shown that the lenticulars are what people are going to come in for and sell in this. So having to order a bunch of copies of the non-lenticulars that aren't going to move, like we already kind of have a history on this.
But this is what this is.
That's exactly right.
But this is what kills the stores,
dude. Where the heck have you been? We're not talking about that. We're talking about Marvel cares about Marvel. That's what we've been talking about for 10 minutes.
But that continues to be a problem, though, because Marvel can care about Marvel.
It's not a problem. You have been doing better than ever in the history of your store.
So, and this is what amuses me about this situation.
It amuses me too.
The fact that stores are finally taking a stand means Ryan's going to sell more.
But what about his third of three minds?
What? Charlie. Sorry.
I'm Bryce. Even though I'm almost as handsome.
So here's a funny conundrum, right, that Marvel's found themselves in.
Quite a conundrum.
So while we sell a lot of Marvel comics, second only to DC here at the store, we do not sell probably near the national average on a lot of these titles. So on average, we sell fewer copies of Marvel than a lot of stores.
Okay.
We sell more DC than Marvel in some months significantly.
Yeah, well, nobody's perfect.
Right. So in order for me to qualify for these variants, some of these I only have to increase by a couple copies. Something like Captain Marvel, I have to increase by a single copy because otherwise, it's very easy for me to get many of these Marvel comics.
I feel you. 150% of your 2 copies.
Do you know who Marvel is screwing the most? Their biggest supporters. Mm-hmm. Stores that do the best with Marvel will have a very hard time qualifying for these covers. So if you're a big Marvel store, if you're one of Marvel's biggest accounts, you are not going to qualify for these covers. And that is why this continues to be a problem for all retailers. Because I can justify throwing a copy of Gwenpool in the trash because I'm going to sell 300 copies of fucking Metal. But if you're a Marvel store and you're selling 40 copies of Gwenpool, can you afford to sell 80? And then the lenticulars on top of that, you're probably not going to move those extra copies.
But dude, it's very simple. You are a business person. You decide if you're going to sell more lenticulars than adding the extra Gwenpools to your stack.
But they're screwing their biggest supporter.
But you as a business person have to make that decision. Are you going to sell more because of that or not? If you're not, why don't you go on Twitter and announce this big revolt about...
They did.
Right. And so, fair play. They're not going to sell as much. They're not going to order the lenticulars. That's fine. And that's what's going to be best for their business.
But it's not good for their business. They're pissing off fans. They're pissing off their customers. And they're losing a shitload of money.
Who is pissing off fans?
The stores that are not...
pissing off fans.
They're pissing off their customers.
I mean, so it's Marvel's fault that these guys are making this business decision that makes sense for them?
Bryce, as a customer at a comic shop, if you wanted all these lenticular covers and Ryan said, look, I can't order any of these lenticular covers for you, that's sending business to other places.
Dude, I'm living in the freaking Twilight Zone right now. You want to order lenticular covers, which means that you've got some sort of first world problem thing going on.
Oh my god!
If you can't order enough lenticular covers,
no. But Bryce, think about it this way, just from a profit margin perspective. For every single copy of the normal cover that sits on the shelf, they pretty much have to sell 2 lenticular covers to make money.
Yes,
because one of them is just gonna be the cost.
Sure, I'm doing the math, except that theoretically that's being sold guaranteed, but okay.
But no, it's not.
It's not. It's not a guarantee.
But then why are you doing, as a businessman, then why are you making that decision? If you didn't anticipate it being sold.
But he's only doing that with a legacy one-shot.
What?
What the frick are you talking about,
now
bro?
you're in Twilight Zone.
What are you talking about?
How many of the legacy number ones with the lenticular covers are you getting? Like you said, you're only ordering.
No, we're talking about the ongoing stuff.
Yeah.
I'm talking about legacy. I'm ordering a shitload of legacy ones too, but those are open order. Every store can order as many as they want of those.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's, as you said, it's math. It's the question of if they have to order 80 of these, they have to be able to sell 160 lenticulars to make money.
And if not, don't order them.
But
and
again,
that's why they're basically saying we can't order these because they can't. And from a business perspective, you're then put in this position where if your customers are coming in saying they want them and you know you cannot make money by ordering them, you're either taking a massive loss as a shop or you are potentially alienating your customer base.
Right, but those same customers, they're either going to go to other venues that do have them, or you decide, hey,
how many times?
Options. Maybe I sell them for more. Maybe I take a loss to keep my customers happy because
there's something you're forgetting, Bryce. You are not Marvel's customer.
Probably.
You're my customer. I'm Marvel's customer. Imagine if I said to you, Bryce,
correct.
Oh, you want to buy X-Men Gold? Okay, well, you have to buy 3 copies of She-Hulk before you can buy a copy of X-Men Gold.
Wildly wrong already.
No, it's the same thing.
As my retailer, knowing infinitely more than me, here's the thing, is that this is lenticular covers. Correct or incorrect, I could buy X-Men Gold regular cover if I didn't care about the lenticular cover from you. No problem, and you wouldn't tug on my dick at all about it.
You want these lenticular covers? Would you order?
This is your argument.
Hold on. Okay, let me readjust. Would you order 2 copies from me of every base cover for all the Legacy first issues, and then I will allow you to purchase a set of the lenticulars?
So, I mean,
that is what Marvel's asking us to do,
right? And so now we're sort of getting into the apples and oranges of it. Like, if I really wanted the lenticular covers, it sort of by your own volition, now it becomes a question of how much do I want them, right?
Right.
So, that answer is going to differ for every paid or
all I'm thinking is where the fuck
customer.
am I going to put all the extra bullshit?
Patient.
But doesn't that make you annoyed that I'm asking you to jump through these hoops?
I mean, frankly, no, not at all. I have to acknowledge for my own finances, how much do I want lenticulars versus Jim Lee variants versus Mary Jane variants? Do I want... Dude, are you kidding me? Do I want these lenticular... What the heck is a lenticular cover to me? Do I want them...
I don't know, you ordered the whole set, so what is it to you?
Right, because I can afford it. It is a first world problem, which I've said since the beginning. Are you going to tell me that I have to order 2 issues of the other copies to get it? Well, then it becomes a question of how much do I actually want
I think you're fighting just to fight. I can't believe that you think this is reasonable for Marvel.
It's not sustainable.
Well, it is sustainable.
It
They've been doing it.
Exactly sustainable. It's all how much they want to do it.
It's just endlessly frustrating.
Yeah, it's super.
It's frustrating, sure, but it's how much they want to do it.
And again, I think...
What do you mean it's not sustainable? They've been doing it forever.
Again... You look.
You do realize how many times they've restarted. You do realize how many people they've alienated.
And they're still outselling DC. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. AKA, I'm not sorry.
Do you know what pallet sales are? This is the game that they're playing. They bump up the numbers to keep them up and high.
Is it the Game of Thrones?
No, it's not. Get your boner away from me.
So the bottom line is, and we can talk about this in circles, lots of shops have very publicly said they cannot do this. And whether or not Marvel will...
Don't you want your product in the stores for people to buy?
Whether or not Marvel will change... I don't expect Marvel's going to change things now.
Not for this, no.
But whether or not they will change things going forward, based on that is, as you said, based on, okay, well, this isn't working anymore. It's not boosting our numbers. They're going to have to adjust. Now, mind you, if not enough shops do it, if it doesn't affect their numbers at all, then they'll probably keep going the way they are. But it does come down to that. It's as long as people are accepting the way they're doing things, they're going to do it forever, just like any business will. If if what you're doing is working, regardless of if it's upsetting people, if it's working, it's working.
Yeah, there have been retailers complaining about this in the past. This is nothing new. The public complaints from retailers is something new.
Yeah, and that's because a couple of big guns finally thrown down the gauntlet, and everybody else has joined them.
Right. If Midtown turned around and said, we can't do this, they change tomorrow. There's a couple guys that if Midtown, what's the big one in LA? Golden Apple. If a couple of these stores turned to Marvel and said, hey, you guys got to cut this shit out, Marvel would do it tomorrow. But the fact that it's just more...
But the fact is also that they haven't.
While I don't disagree with you, I could also totally see Marvel cutting them an exception.
A deal.
Yeah.
So that might be the case. And look, like I am fully acknowledging that I'm in a very first world circumstance of my own. I'm just saying that they've been doing it forever, and that it seems almost more publicity to me for Big Bang and these other guys, and I know that you're close in real life with them, and so maybe that's blasphemous on my part.
But
so if that's not the case, then that's fine, because I don't know the full story or all the information.
Publicity of saying I'm not stocking something is
they got more clicks to their website this past couple weeks than they've ever had ever, and you can't say that that's wrong. Oh, you're right.
A store like us.
No, the problem I see here, especially in sort of a long-term thing, is how many times do you send your customers somewhere else for what they're looking for before they stop coming to your shop?
Right.
So their big public display of several tweets in a row, their big public protest, they got a bunch of articles written about them in the industry press. Come on, that's going back to marketing moves, that's to get their names in headlines. That's to get attention.
But it's also letting...
What are you disagree with that?
These are little comic stores, man. This isn't some this isn't some tech company working on an IPO or something like that.
Are you kidding me? They said that it was 6 tweets in a row giving their whole manifesto about...
Oh, it was 40. But
And dude, you're gonna say that wasn't to get attention of other people? Come on, man.
Well, I think it was to get attention of other people, but I think it was to get attention of other retailers to join the protest.
It's to bring also the attention to what retailers are going through with dealing with Marvel math.
Yeah, when I bitch about this stuff on Twitter, it's not to get people to buy stuff from me. It's to tell people this is annoying, because if we tell Marvel something, they don't really care because we're still giving them millions of dollars. If you guys tell Marvel something, they kind of listen. They listen.
Yeah, that's where you got that diversity in comics.
They listen to the customer base a little bit more than they listen to the retailers. May not feel like it, but
you know what, Bryce? You need a Tumblr account.
But I think they do. So anyway, that went on way too long. Here's a question for Toby, because it's not for Toby specifically, but I'm sure he's going to have some answers for this. Let's get Toby in this conversation. Jimmy says, what Marvel Netflix show do you want to see next? Daughters of the Dragon, Power Man and Iron Fist, Morbius, Blade, something else?
Oh my god.
Something else.
What do you want?
Those are 4 great options.
I want Moon Knight.
Oh, that's an even better option.
I really want Moon Knight.
Moon Knight would be incredible.
Moon Knight's been the big one everyone wants.
Yeah, and there's a big rumor that he may be in Punisher. So
yeah.
No way.
Why not? Frank Castle and Mark Spector? It would be an awesome intro for him.
But would they do it like they did with what's her name? Not Power Cat. The Jessica Jones.
Hellcat.
Hellcat. Yeah.
Power Cat.
I wish her name was Power Cat.
Power Cat.
Patsy Walker.
Patsy Walker. That's where I get the pat.
Well, they've already had a very good history of Punisher and Daredevil season 2, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones.
Yeah.
It would not surprise me at all if they're kind of looking to what other character can we generate some interest in.
Let's test the waters and bring them in.
Yeah.
And
potentially
I would love to have
100% totally agree.
Though I will add to it. Sorry, Bryce.
No.
I will add to it. I do want Daughters of the Dragon, and I kind of feel like I want Heroes for Hire instead of season 2s of individual shows. And what was the other options there?
Totally agree.
What was
Blade and Mobius?
I want Blade.
Morbius. God,
Blade.
DC lover.
But Blade has
Morbius, not Mobius.
Or Morbius?
Get out of here, new god. Hashtag not my new god.
Who do I want to see?
You want to see?
I would say Cloak and Dagger, but
they're doing it.
You want to see?
We're gonna get that baby show.
Wait,
you want to see
what?
an OG New Warriors
right.
TV show?
There's a trailer for it already.
No, I'm talking like the Netflix stuff. The Netflix stuff has been like all the
All the street stuff.
All the Marvel
Knights
stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, do we know, by the way,
Moon Knight wasn't part of?
Yeah.
Wait, while you're thinking, do we know once DC and Netflix, did we decide how, like, do they get to keep, because they're Netflix originals?
DC? Marvel and Netflix?
I'm sorry.
They didn't say. They haven't
said. But I love how you phrase that. Did we decide?
No. On last week's podcast, we talked about it, right?
Do we have a decision in this? Yeah.
Well, yeah, by we decide, I mean, did you guys know?
Yeah. No, they're still negotiating, I think.
I don't know everything confirmed.
I'm going to throw out a Dark Horse candidate here for a Marvel Netflix show, but I think I actually could work. No, She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be.
There's a lot of talking, and she could be a lawyer.
Yeah.
That would work.
I think that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah,
Luke Cage meets Daredevil.
Yeah.
Ish. Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be a little funnier than maybe some of the other shows.
Yeah,
but
don't have her meet Luke Cage. He's just going to get more coffee.
That's disrespectful.
You know, if they did that, they're going to open the floodgates for having America on it.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
America.
What's wrong with that?
Netflix. Higgins' worst nightmare. Love America.
Oh no, she'll be on.
Everybody.
She'll be on like
Higgins likes
America. She'll be on
America.
She'll be on. What is that? What's it? Freeform. They'll have an America show.
Please.
Oh, I guarantee you they'll have them. Or she'll be on the New Warriors of Squirrel Girl, and I'll just slit my wrists.
Don't you dare. She would never. America would never do that to us. She would dimension hop.
She's been a real bitch this year already, so who knows what else she got planned for us. All right. That's it for this podcast. Thank you, Bryce, for screaming nonsensically for an hour and change, and thank you, everyone else, for fighting them.
I think that's revisionist history.
Spoiler level 2. Please never bring that up again.
This is going to be an ongoing fucking thing. You know that.
I'm not sure there's
never fucking die.
I'm not sure there will ever be a podcast where I don't bring this up again.
I stand by it. I just don't want to hear it from you.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, hear from him even when he's not here.
I'm going to only bring it up on episodes Bryce isn't on.
He's going to call you like at 2 a.m. Spoiler level 4.
Level 4, mind blown. What does that even involve?
We have to thank
spoiling something in the future.
Yeah, he doesn't even know
before it even exists.
Okay, all right.
Spoiler.
Cable style, Strive style.
3.
How dare you?
We have to thank some Patreon backers here. Julian Titus has the Nerds Without Pants podcast at pixabit.com.
He has no pants.
That he does. Ryan Hess has Blowhards at blowhards.libsyn.com. That's a video game podcast, not something
blows
else.
very hard.
That's what I've heard. Joey Lawson is canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicstudio.com. And our good friend Mario Miranda is wants to pimp his friend's store, Geeky Teas and Games, which is in Burbank, California. It's board games.
This is a store?
House.
Yep, it's a store.
It's a store.
Did it sell comic books?
I don't think so. I hear video games and tea.
All right, I'll allow it.
Or, sorry, board games and tea.
I'll allow
there
it.
you go. Yeah. And cat rescue, too.
Oh, the kitty place.
Yes.
I fully support him in that case, even if they sold comic books.
Yeah, that's all right. As well as Manoa Place, Sam Che, Talonbury, Craig Anderson, and Joe Duff. Thank you guys so very much for your support on Patreon.
Thank you.
And next week we'll be back. Patreon's back to normal now. All our stuff got figured out.
Do we hit random picks?
I mean, yeah, we haven't. Yes! We actually have hit random picks all the time. It's supposed to be every episode. I just forget sometimes. So, well, Brock really finds this funny.
It is because every time you're like, fuck,
well, if
the life drains out.
Well, here's the thing: if people are listening to this, they're going to be like, "Well, it says they're ending the episode, but there's still like 20 minutes left in the episode. So why don't I finish
20? Good luck.
Why don't I finish reading these and then we'll do our random picks? ComicConspiracyPodcast.com, Geekbox.net, and iTunes. So if you can find this podcast and all our other episodes, please rate and review us. The comedy button, the Comic Conspiracy at Geekbox.net or contact form. That is where you can email us your long form questions. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That is your digital comic storefront where you can buy your comics from us. Please do that. ConspiratorBrock.com. That's Brock's blog and video pull list. Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension. That's Charlie's Doctor Who podcast. And Etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art. That is my wonderful wife, Leanne. That's her Etsy store. Go and pick up some art from her. She just got a new commission the other day. Some stuff coming up for the Halloween con I think she's working on too. Ryan Higgins, Ryan, that is me on Twitter. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce Larsen is Larsen Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. The store is Comics Con Store. Geekbox Comedy Button. Geekbox Comedy Button. Try that again. Good Job Brain. I'll Talk Podcast and Manga Machinations. Listen to those podcasts. And Asshole Brock. What's your random pick, Dick?
Wow. Super impressive.
For reminding me. Thank you. Listeners are thanking you. I'm mad at you. What's a random pick? It's really not that funny. Just pick a book.
Oh, it's so funny.
No, it
is so funny.
It's really not.
I think everyone needs to go out and grab the hardcover of Tom King's Batman that came out. It comes out Wednesday.
That's the least random pick of all time.
No, it's awesome stuff.
First two volumes out.
First 2 volumes of the. It's like 12 issues.
I Am Gotham and I Am Bane.
Yep. Awesome stuff. So I would definitely pick up Tom King's hardcover. Sorry to steal a hardcover from you, Charlie, but it was nice and pretty.
I wasn't going to pick that anyway.
Well, whatever, okay?
My random pick
Secret
is
Empire
going
10?
to be... No, it's going to be Ultimates. Even though Higgins very randomly loves all the galactic, multiversical, crazy SHIT, not swearing. And by the way, I think this is a record low for me. I want some confirmation.
Kevin
on that.
Sharp can give us a count.
Kevin Sharp.
rolling
I
his
think
eyes
that I'm
going, "Why am I
almost.
counting this shit?"
I'm very close to 0 for this episode. So Al Ewing on Ultimates. Ultimates. I was shocked. If you can believe that I would ever be shocked, I was floored, in fact, that Higgins does not like Al Ewing on Ultimates. I just read Ultimates 100. I could not believe that it was canceled. I could believe, because Marvel has been having a great track record of making bad decisions in the past couple of years. But I was very sad to see it go, although I do have to acknowledge that it was terminated at a very good finishing point. Ultimates was a fantastic story. Ultimates 2, I guess. The final issue was Ultimates 100 with the renumbering, where they meet the Ultimates from Mark Millar's run. A great issue. Al Ewing has done amazing stuff. The past tongue-tied. The past 6 issues have been not really even about the Ultimates, such as it's been about Galactus and the Eternity Watch, which has been about a bunch of galactic, multiversical Marvel beings. It's been a great book. You should definitely read it. Somebody on the Facebook group said that it's the best non-Jason Aaron written book Marvel's publishing, which the more I think about it, the more I want to re-quote it because it's so accurate. Al Ewing has been doing a great job. I don't know what else he's doing. Ryan Higgins wants to throw some shade at the other.
Love that Rocket series.
So I haven't read Rocket. I don't know how good or not good it is, but I can tell you that Al Ewing has been doing a whole bunch of great stuff with the sort of galactic canon of universal canon of the Marvel Comics. Ultimates has been a fantastic book. It has come to termination, so if you can pick it up, it's a great starting and stopping point because it's a finite number. That's my random pick is Ultimates. Go read everything that they have out thus far because it is ended. Tobias, is your option also Ultimates? That would be a good decision. Good decisions.
No. Well, I did like the original new run, the original new run with the art from
David Finch?
No.
Way back?
Manafort.
Rocafort.
Rockfort. Ultimates 2, the new version.
No, it's like 4
Just
or 5.
Ultimates. Yeah.
Anyways, I was actually looking through your little epic collections of Moon Knight Spectre because I wanted to see if the stuff that blew my mind as a kid is in those epic collections, but I don't think it is. I think it must be later. It must be later in the 80s.
Yeah, probably. The
back half. And I have a feeling it might be that black guy that drew that stuff.
Well, that's the 90s.
Is it the 90s?
Oh, yeah. When you took over, that was like Moon Knight.
30-something?
I just remember.
I can't remember what issue number.
When I read Moon Knight, it was the second half of my Spider-Man comics in German, and the art, which was like fucking
that was like 94, 95.
That's... Yeah, and it just blew everything out of the water. And
when Stephen Platt came on, that was
Bushman and this fucking amazing shit.
Yeah, that's all Stephen Platt stuff.
Yeah, it's just freaking awesome stuff. So I'm hoping that comes out in the epic collection.
Oh, well, I'm sure it will. It will.
So I'm really waiting for that. I was going to recommend the Moon Knight stuff, but since it wasn't in that, and I didn't really read all the old stuff yet, even though I own all the single issues, I'm going to go with a book I was super excited about last week, and I started reading it too, that I made Ryan order, and I kept asking him every day if it was in or not. It's Batman and the Outsiders, and the second half of the book is actually stuff I read as a kid, so I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, they released that hardcover that has the first 12, 14 issues, maybe, something like that. Yeah. Weird that it was in a hardcover. That kind of threw me off.
I kind of like it.
I thought it was going to be like an omnibus.
I also kind of like that
book.
size, too. I really like that size. It's in the size of that Superboy and the Legion book.
Yep.
I actually called the omnibus beforehand, and you couldn't look it up because I kept calling it an omnibus.
Yeah, it's not an omnibus. Yeah.
But, the Katana story is in there just like I remembered it. The Black Lightning story is in there just like as I remembered the first time I read these characters. So maybe it's a little nostalgic, but I really love that stuff.
I haven't read too much like the original Outsiders run. I should pick.
So towards the end of that book is literally what I got in my first Batman digest fake thingy. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm super stoked to actually read it from the beginning because I never did.
Yeah.
I just kind of jumped right in.
Yeah.
And there was that really cool splash page of Black Lightning kind of looking down and it's in there. And the really cool Katana story is in there. So I'm super stoked about that book.
Charles.
So I'm actually a little torn, so I'm just going to go with both because that's how I roll.
It's okay. We probably skipped last week, so.
The Flash Manipul omnibus they did I love that book.
The new the
hardcover they did of all the New 52 Manipul run on Flash.
Yeah, the big omnibus.
That's a great book. It's a beautiful book. I love the way Manipul kind of did the Flash. So I wanted to call that out, but I also wanted to call out the current arc in Green Lantern and
Green Lanterns.
Well, no,
or Hal.
Actually, they're both really good. But Hal specifically,
so
just
Hal
because
the Green Lantern Corps, the one with the New Gods.
Yeah, the one with the New Gods, the one that they're pretty much tying to metal without saying they're tying it to metal, which is kind of weird but kind of awesome. But I mean, they're tying it to the New Gods. They have these giant nth metal golems that came to life recently, and it's really good.
I kind of wonder if Hal.
And then in Green Lanterns, it's been good too because they're delving more into sort of really ancient lantern mythology with the first lanterns and stuff.
Yeah, I'm curious if Hal's going to actually really open up tie into metal, and people are going to be scrambling for those issues.
It feels like it is.
Yeah, that's what I wonder. I'm going to blow Bryce's mind with my pick right now.
Is it called 90s X-Men #1?
That would, in fact, blow my mind.
No.
Size superior?
Frankly, it's superior, not superior. There's nothing superior about it.
That's why I say it like that.
I think you just...
So one of the X-Men books that I've been liking better on the relaunch has been Weapon X, and I went into this Hulk Weapon X crossover thinking...
Wait, hold on. I need to get over my convulsive seizure. Okay, I'm good.
So I polished off the end of a weapon of mutant destruction. Weapons of mutant destruction. The Weapon
I'm
X.
I'm kind of curious where this is going now.
Totally awesome Hulk crossover that just wrapped up. And, I actually really liked it.
What?
I actually really liked it. Weapon X.
I think you guys need to call 911. I'm having heart palpitations.
Weapon X, I've enjoyed. Again, like we were talking earlier about getting back to the basics of X-Men stuff.
Exactly.
It's Wolverine, Sabretooth, and Lady Deathstrike, and they're just killing fools and fighting
people.
robots, and
it's
pretty fun.
And fighting robots.
Who are you?
And
who are you is a good question.
Of course, totally awesome Hulk. I don't care
there
at
he
all.
is. There's Ryan.
I don't like him either, but I found myself not caring in this crossover.
Right, but I actually thought the crossover kind of was pretty decent, especially on the Hulk end.
Again, who are you?
Yeah, I know.
What is happening?
Yeah.
I don't know if they wrote the character better because he's with the X-Men, or if it made more sense because of the story. But this is the first time I've read it.
Well, I think it's
Jeremy Lin stuff was pretty cool.
because Cho's character. I've always seen Cho's character as a really great support character, or in a group environment.
Have you read Champions? He's not good in that.
But that's the thing is it also depends on where he's at. When he was first introduced in Incredible Hulk,
I don't
I liked the character, But his development over time has not improved very much.
No, like Amadeus Cho is whatever. Totally Awesome Hulk is dumb, but I thought it actually worked within the context of this book pretty well. So yeah, I'm not going to keep reading Hulk, but I'm glad I didn't skip those issues because I actually thought it was pretty decent. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, there you go.
And by the way, wow,
and
I'm shocked.
Speaking earlier about metal and all this stuff, how did it take him this long for there to be like a Hulk with metal claws? Like,
wait, so what I want? So okay,
how did it take him this long to be like, what if we?
No, but they didn't though, right? Because the Jeff Loeb, Ed McGuinness like world of Hulks, like I have to say I did not read that, so I don't know. But I bet that Charlie read it, and I bet that he loved it.
Wasn't there a what if where they did that?
I mean, I'm sure there's what. Oh no, that's bad Marvel Loeb.
No, you're forgetting the era that
bad Marvel Loeb is anything
it's
Loeb in the past decade.
All Marvel Loeb.
No, not all. Back in the day, he was good. No,
Yes,
no. Back in the day, he was good.
Oh, like
he did some good Marvel work. That Daredevil Yellow is badass.
Before he went to DC, when he left DC and went back to Marvel, all garbage.
The Spider-Man Blue is pretty good.
Wait, what?
All those color books.
Loeb was at DC in the 80s.
Nerd alert. Nobody cares when he went or came back. All I know is that old Loeb was awesome and new Loeb is terrible. I don't care when he went back. And if that's the differentiating factor, fair play. But all I'm saying is that Loeb was awesome and now he's not.
We know what happened. Just don't want to talk about it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I did. Yeah. But wait, but was that when he went from...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right after he left.
I didn't know that. Okay. I didn't know that
it happened. Did it happen before?
Okay.
Let's move on.
It was.
I know. I didn't know that it was timed around then
wasn't,
specifically.
yeah.
But my point is that he used to be awesome,
Yep.
and he's not been awesome. But that Wolverine Hulk stuff has already been done by Loeb.
But not
Well, sure, I agree.
in the Marvel universe, like in the normal title, like in a regular thing that's here to.
I would
maybe
hardly call
stay.
Weapon X and the totally incredible, awesome faux Hulk like regular Marvel.
Well, it
Like,
more than the Hulked Out Heroes stuff. That was
I mean, why?
weird, like alternate reality shit, wasn't it?
Well, no,
it was
it
just
was
as
not alternate
But didn't they pull
reality.
it
back
was
from
just
all
as
that?
Marvel Universe as this.
Well, they
No,
basically.
didn't.
I don't.
At the end of the
What was the
story arc, they
was it-
retconned it all.
Yeah,
But
Well,
that doesn't
no, but-
mean that they're not going to retcon this at the end of it.
They didn't retcon it. They just solved the problem because
They all
it
went
was
back
like
to normal,
the
right?
collective. I'm trying to remember,
Right, which
who
is
it
exactly
was,
what's going to happen with
yeah.
the Venomverse.
Yeah.
My point is that they've done this before, and so while I actually agree with you, I've been liking.
Spoiler alert! Everyone goes back.
So which level is that? So I've been
level 1. We all knew they were going to go back.
So
I thought that was level 2.
And so while I'm wondering what took you so long to get on board with the fact that Marvel is better than DC, but seriously, I'm actually shocked that a book called Mutants of Mass Destruction, like when I picked this up, I was like,
Weapons of Mutant Destruction.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was like, you have got to be
Stupid.
kidding me. This is going to be terrible. I'll still buy everything, and I'll not regret it, but I'll be frustrated a little bit.
So there is regret,
but it's actually been good.
And Hulk said Hulk book's now like a $30 comic, so there you go.
What?
That Hulk book, the Hulk 22.
Wait, why?
Because the first appearance of Wolver Hulk. Or whatever they're going to. I forget what they call him. Weapon H or whatever.
No, it's Weapon.
No.
J?
Is it Project H?
Whatever the hell his name is. I just read the book and I already forgot. But yes.
That's crazy. Anyway, I'm going to still cut it up and bind it.
Is it Batch? Is it Batch?
So you're thinking of Patch. That's Wolverine.
No, Batch.
No, that's a terrible joke.
Anyway.
That was like a dad joke.
Anyway, we're done.
Leave those
the Lobo
to Charlie.
Let's be done.
Yeah, we're done.
Let's be done.
Let's not be done. Let's keep going.
Oh my God, no.